Good morning and welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church of Columbus, our first service online following our summer collaboration. Welcome. I'm Reverend Dr. Marian Stewart. It is my pleasure to serve this congregation as senior minister. What a lovely weekend it is, and so good to be back together as a congregation. I hope you enjoyed our summer tour of UU churches in the Midwest. We look forward to doing more collaborative work in the future. One of our intentions this year is to lift up the diversity of who, where, and how we live. We have made a commitment to honor Black Lives Matter, to source and give credit to Black authors, composers, contributors, and as often as possible, we will also lift up minorities and marginalized communities. Even though we are in a virtual sanctuary this morning, we celebrate each other and the larger community of which we are a part. We also recognize the Adena and Hopewell peoples who traversed this land, built mounds, and enjoyed life in central and southern Ohio as early as 3000 BCE. On this Labor Day weekend, we focus on workers. While there have always been workers as far back as jobs needed to be done, this morning, we will focus on American workers that help shape our culture of work as it is today. I invite you to center yourself into this moment as we listen to our prelude, Which Side Are You On? Written by Florence Reese, an American social activist, poet, and folk songwriter. According to Wikipedia, Florence Reese was best known for this song, which she originally wrote at the age of 12 while her father was out on strike with other coal miners. Florence later married Sam Reese, a union organizer for the United Mine Workers in Harlan County, Kentucky. In 1931, the miners and the mine owners of southeastern Kentucky were locked in a bitter and violent struggle called the Harlan County War. In an attempt to intimidate the family of union leader Sam Reese, Sheriff J.H. Blair and his men, hired by the mining company, illegally entered the home in the search of Reese. Having been warned in advance, Sam Reese escaped, but his wife Florence and their children were terrorized. That night, after the men had gone, Florence wrote the lyrics to Which Side Are You On a calendar that hung in their kitchen.
Good morning and welcome to our Labor Day service. My name is Kelly McNeil and I serve as the Director of Congregational Life here at First Unitarian Universalist Church of Columbus. It is so incredible to be back with you all this beautiful morning. I wish that I could see your bright, smiling faces and give you each a giant hug, but that day will come again soon. If you are visiting with us this morning, welcome. We are so very glad that you are here. If you have any questions or just want to know more about who we are, please email me. You can find my email in the chat box. If you're thinking about becoming a member of First UU or just want the opportunity to learn more about us in a small group setting, I would like to invite you to register for our next Pathways to Membership class, which will be happening on Zoom next Sunday from 1 to 4. You can find information for that in the chat box as well. If you would like to learn more about our religious exploration programs for children and youth, please email our Director of Religious Exploration, Amber Scott. We're all so excited about the ways our RE department is tackling the challenge of offering RE virtually, and I know Amber would be happy to answer any questions you may have. As always, we will be offering virtual coffee hour after this service. That will be a different Zoom link, so be sure to copy it out of the chat box and join us then. Everyone is invited to our Labor Day picnic happening tomorrow from 4 to 6. Stay tuned to the end of the service for more information about that. And finally, if you would like to be on our email list to find out more about what is going on at First UU, please email me. And I'll make sure that you get these announcements and so much more information in your inbox each week. I now invite you to center yourself as we listen as Larry Drake plays the guitar while we watch a series of archived images of American life and labor.
If you have your candle nearby or your chalice, I invite you to go get it and have it in front of you so that we can light our chalice together. On this Labor Day weekend, we light our chalice to the words of Cesar Chavez, American labor leader, community organizer, businessman, and Latino American civil rights organizer and activist. Along with Dolores Huerta, he co-founded the National Farm Workers Association, which later merged to become the United Farm Workers Labor Union. Let us join together as we say our words together from Cesar Chavez. The fight is never about grapes or lettuce. It's always about people. Our chalice is lit.
Good morning. I'm Amber Scott, your Director of Religious Exploration. I hope you are all having a lovely holiday weekend. Some of your stuffed animals have been having a fantastic time exploring the church for the Labor Day Stuffy Retreat. Check out the church Facebook page for photo updates. I bet they're going to be pretty tired when they head home tomorrow from having so much fun. Today's story is called Building a Building, written by Kavitha Puniyamurthy and illustrated by Mohith Mohan, published under a Creative Commons license on Storyweaver. For more stories like this one, please visit storyweaver.org.in. On a breezy autumn afternoon, Minu and Elango walk home from school. Let's take the shortcut, Minu. The shortcut takes them past a piece of land that has stood vacant for years, but today it is buzzing with activity. Gurra, 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 gurra. A huge vehicle moves back and forth, slowly scooping out clumps of bushes, grass, and rocks. Gurra, gurra, gurra. Gurra, gurra, gurra. Look, Mani is driving the bulldozer, says Minu. The children wave at Mani, the site supervisor. He waves back. Tea break! Mani's voice booms across the site. What's going on here, Mani? Asks Elango. We are building a new school for you, says Mani, wiping his sweaty face. Hooray! Elango jumps with excitement. Our school's old roof leaks when it rains, and during the summer, our classrooms get so hot. When will the new school be ready? Asks Minu. It will take nearly a year, says Mani. We are clearing and leveling the site now. Off you go, there's too much dust in the air. Every afternoon, Mino and Elango pass the site and watch the construction workers working. One day, they notice a woman looking at some charts. This is Radhika, our civil engineer, says Mani. Would you like to see our floor plan? Asks Radhika. What's a floor plan? Asks Elango. It's a drawing that shows the design of the building. You can see where each room is and where the windows and doors will be, explains Radhika. That big rectangle? Is that where the library will be? Asks Minu. Yes, a library that will have lots of books and computers. A week later, Elango and Minu see a big vehicle digging deep, square-shaped holes. Look at that giant robot scooping out mud, yells Minu. That's an excavator, says Mani. Today, we will start working on the foundation. It's the base that supports the weight of the building. By the following month, more holes have been dug. Gada, 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 goes the cement mixer. It's mixing cement, sand, gravel, and water to form concrete, explains Mani. Cartloads of long steel rods have arrived. Minu and Elango watch benders bind the rods to make steel frames, and a lot of noise. Clang, clang, clang. The children watch as steel frames are lowered into each hole. Look, they are pouring concrete around the base of the steel frame. The concrete becomes hard once it dries and forms the foundation below the ground, says Radhika. Clang, clang, clang. Gada, gada, gada. On a sunny morning, Minu and Elango watch the workers set up wooden planks along sides of the steel frames. The planks form a casing around the steel frames. Concrete is poured into these wooden casings. And once the concrete hardens, the wooden planks are removed and the pillars are ready, explains Radhika. Oh, it's just like the molds we use to make popsicles, Elango exclaims. You pour the juice into the mold, leave it in the freezer until it hardens, and then remove the mold. Exactly, says Mani. Now let's go get some popsicles. By the end of autumn, the first slab is ready and the pillars have been raised to roof level. The brickwork is set to start the following month. Minu and Elango watch the masons place brick upon brick. The masons slap the cement over the bricks, splat, splat, splat. Then they smooth the surface with trowels. As the walls of the building go up, the rain comes down. I hope it stops pouring soon. We need to finish this brickwork, says Mani. On their next visit to the site, Elango asks Mani, is that the roof going up? Yes, but be careful, says Mani. The workers are connecting the pillars using beams. They will set up metal plates underneath, fix steel rods over them, and pour concrete over that. Once it sets, the plates will be removed and the roof will be ready. How does the roof stay up until the concrete hardens? Asks Minu. See those wooden poles? They hold up metal plates from below until the concrete sets, says Radhika. By the spring, the roof is complete. While Minu and Elango write their final exams, the carpenters fit the windows and doors. The electricians wire the building. The plumbers install pipes for drinking water and drainage. The workers paint the building and install lights, fans, switches, bolts, and locks. When school reopens at the end of the summer, the smell of fresh paint still hangs in the air. Brand new fans, brand new benches, and a brand new blackboard, cries Elango. Same old science teacher, laughs Mr. Bhaskar. The end. Like building a new school, creating a church community takes a lot of teamwork. Everyone in our congregation plays a special part in building the future that we imagine. As we move into a new church year, I am excited to see what we can make and build together.
Thanks, Amber. Part of building a church community is holding one another through our joys and our struggles. Later in our time together this morning, we will bring forward those in our community who are experiencing grief, loss, or moments of celebration. I invite you to use the chat box now and type your full name and in 10 words or less, the sorrow or joy you wish to share, and then select Send to Panelists.
Every day, Constant Warren stands behind the cold cuts counter at a grocery store in New Orleans, watching the regular customers come and go. They thank Mrs. Warren and they tell her they do not like being stuck indoors, waiting out the epidemic. She wraps their honey-smoked turkey and smiles. It is good to have a job right now, the mixed fortune of being deemed an essential worker. But she wonders whether, once everyday life is safe again, people will remember the role she played when it is not. Don't forget that we were once open to serve you in your time of need, she said on a break on a recent workday afternoon. You never know when you might need us again. The story of Constance was reported in the New York Times on April 18th of this year, when the pandemic was finding a new hotspot in New Orleans. It pointed out how that 1 in 3 jobs held by women was deemed essential. From the cashier to the emergency room nurse, to the drugstore pharmacist, to the home health aide taking the bus to check on her elder client. The soldier on the front lines of the current national emergency is most likely a woman. Constance's words again. Don't forget that we were open to serve you in your time of need. You never know when you might need us again. Good words for us all as we take this time today on this Labor Day to give our thanks and show our gratitude for the workers and laborers among us. The images we will share next are just some of the workers deemed essential in this time of pandemic. Most of the images are from unsplash.com, a copyright-free source, and the guitar music in the background is by Larry Drake. Now I'll give a reflection on Labor Day. And thank you for watching those images, and thank you to all of our essential workers. Is it Friday yet? Oh my God, I need a vacation. Is it paycheck time? It's a baby, I need family leave. Call the doctor. Thank goodness we have Medicare. Those Social Security checks, they sure keep food on the table. Getting old is not easy. Medicare sure helps. Do I have to work forever? Can I retire? Barack Obama took all these statements into account when he said it was the labor movement that helped secure so much of what we take for granted. The 40-hour work week, the minimum wage, family leave, health insurance, Social Security, Medicare, retirement plans, the cornerstones of the middle-class security all bear the union label. You can also add to Obama's list the 8-hour workdays, child labor laws, and unemployment insurance. Molly Ivins, you might remember her, was an American newspaper columnist, author, political commentator, and a humorist who died all too young. For me, she would have been a first read commentary on today's news and politics. I miss her candor and her sense of humor. Ivins also had a sense of where things came from. In reflecting on unions, she wrote this: although it is true that only about 13% of American workers are unionized, that 13% sets the standards across the board in salaries, benefits, and working conditions. If you are making a decent salary in a non-union company, you owe that to the unions. One thing that corporations do not do is give out money out of the goodness of their hearts. And here's one more quote on labor that I'd like to share is from the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The labor movement was the principal force that transformed misery and despair into hope and progress. I think about the role of labor in my own life. My first job was lifeguarding at the local pool in the summertime. That ended when I was 17, when my dad, a banker and a happy weekend golfer, told me that I not only had graduated from high school, but I also graduated from the swimming pool to the golf course. I'm not sure that worked out so well, but there you go. My other job as a teenager was in the tobacco fields. An hour or so before the sun rose each summer morning, I'd pile into the bed of a pickup truck along with other teenagers. The driver would take us to Mr. Hennett's farm. I was assigned to the stitching machine, arranging the green, heavy leaves of the tobacco onto a conveyor belt to be stitched onto a pole ready for hanging. That's when my younger brother would take up the loaded pole and lift it up into the barn for drying. It was hot, dirty work. But it was also communal, especially when we all sat down at a huge table for lunch, when Mrs. Hennett would serve up massive amounts of farm vegetables, some of the best I've ever eaten, meats, and of course, Southern biscuits piled high and deep. A few hours more in the field, and then we'd head home exhausted. I don't remember what the pay was, but it was certainly more than my weekly allowance at home, and it was good for teenagers too young to drive. Now farms were mostly worked by migrant labor. Years after my experience in the farm, I helped drive some of these workers to various farm worker organizing meetings. I would drive around to the farms, see their trailers and makeshift shacks that they would live in, often 12, 15, 20 to a trailer, and I'd drive them to a meeting. They would discuss their living conditions, which were far from standard, and their pay was often dismal. Any mistreatment would often go unreported for fear of punishment. These things were not new to farms or other places of employment, especially those with low-skilled, mostly poor or marginalized workers. I remember a family member from the South telling me about the manufacturing plant where he worked. There was a unionizing effort going on, and there was a vote to be taken soon. He didn't think much of this, and he told me, "It's not right. We, the workers, don't need more money. The point is, all the profits are supposed to go to the managers and the owners." I didn't say it, but it sure felt like that this was a throwback to plantation mentality. The bosses reap the profits while the workers worry about their next meal, bill from the doctor, or how to take care of their kids. Labor unions have lifted many out of poverty. Labor unions gave us working standards and conditions that made it safer to work and also get paid for the work. Labor unions, I know, are not perfect. Over time, there have been abuses. But they help change and shape the American way of life and our culture. For almost as long as I can remember, though, labor unions have been under attack. My first memory was when Ronald Reagan took down the Air Traffic Controllers Union, and the unions have been attacked ever since. Working conditions, including pay, are slipping, especially for poor, marginalized, minority, and migrant workers. It continues to this day. Frederick Douglass once said, "Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will. There is still a role for labor unions in our workaday life as Americans. On this Labor Day, I would like to say thank you to all those who work and labor. May you be well paid and have decent hours, vacation, insurance, healthcare, all these things that the labor unions have brought to us. May we all have those, for they make us all better. Blessed be, and amen. Our special music this morning is from Larry Drake, who once again will play his guitar, but this time he sings and invites us to sing along. So after his introduction for the next song, sing, sing, sing.
Tomorrow is Labor Day, when we celebrate the workers who are the backbone of our economy. Labor, valued as it now and almost always has been, as having less value than most other forms of work, has never been an easy way to earn a living. Yet, without it, no nation can survive for long. Economic life has always been disturbed by intermittent crises. Most recently, the COVID-19 pandemic has left many hardworking families jobless and in dire straits. In the 1930s, the Great Depression, combined with overwhelming dust storms, drove thousands of Americans away from their homes in Middle America to California, where they largely became migrants working in the agriculture to piece together a living. Songwriter Woody Guthrie was one of the migrants and chronicled the life and plight of the Dust Bowl migrants. The song Pastures of Plenty is one of his best known and most repeated Dust Bowl ballads. Please sing along to this timeless story of hard times. It's a mighty hard road that my poor hands have hoed. My poor feet have traveled the hot, dusty road. Out of your dust bowl and westward we rolled. Your deserts were hot and your mountains were cold. I've worked in your orchards of peaches and prunes, slept on the ground in the light of your moon. On the edge of your city you'll see us, and then we come with the dust and we go with the wind. California, Arizona, I make all your crops. Then it's north up to Oregon to gather your hops. Dig the beets from your ground, cut the grapes from your vine, to set on your table your light sparkling wine. Green pastures of plenty from dry desert ground, from the Grand Coulee Dam where the waters run down. Every state in this union us migrants have been, will work for this fight fight till we win. We'll always we've rambled this river and high. All along your green valley I'll work till I die. My land I'll defend with my life if need be, 'cause my pastures of plenty must always be free.
Thank you to Larry Drake for the lovely music, the context of the songs, and your heartfelt reflection. There are a lot of labor songs out there, and Woody Guthrie certainly wrote and sang his share. Thank you, Larry, for singing and inviting us to sing along. First UU is a church that matters. It is in the foundation of our being to love, to care, and to be generous. We know this world is a long way from being fair to all people. It takes all of us to make it better. To offer our gifts and pay our promised pledges is to say to ourselves and the world that we are defined by our hearts and our deeper values. Our Share the Plate recipient for September is UU The Vote Ohio, a nonpartisan faith effort to educate and mobilize voters, rally around key ballot initiatives, and energize our congregations and neighbors. Grounded by Unitarian Universalist principles, UU The Vote Ohio is a voter advocacy initiative of UU Justice Ohio. Please be as generous as you can to get as many people as possible involved in our democratic election process and to support democracy here in Ohio and nationwide. The offering that helps build a better world and a better church will now be gratefully received online. You can donate on our website, text to give, bank by mail, or write a check and mail it in. Thank you for your generosity.
Wow, thank you so much for that, Nathan. So great to hear you play again. I invite you now to join me in a moment of peace. I invite you to find a comfortable seat and take in a nice, deep breath. You can close your eyes if you're comfortable. And let's breathe deeply in and out. Breathing in peace and breathing out love. Use this time as an opportunity to relax and momentarily step away from the to-do list scrolling through your head. Feel the energy around you as you're joined by your community of First U viewers, all breathing in peace and breathing out love. We take this opportunity to lift up our caring cards this morning. We first lift up healing thoughts and prayers for Beth G., who had a fall in her apartment and was hospitalized because of a head injury. We also remember our former music director, Tony McDonald, who passed away from COVID a few weeks ago. His celebration of life will be this Saturday at 2. We also lift up gratitude, joy, and a heartfelt welcome to Thomas Frederick Turo, aka Freddie, who was born on June 6th. Congratulations to Alex and Katie on a healthy baby boy. We also want to say a very warm welcome to Isabel Call, our new Assistant Minister of Pastoral Care. Isabel joined us officially this week, and the staff has had a great time getting to know her as she settles into Columbus and this new role. We will officially welcome her next week, but she will be joining us in coffee hour today after the service if you would like to say hello. We also want to lift up the joys and sorrows shared with us this morning in our chat box. Brad B. shares a sorrow. They write, "Our cat Phoebe is back in the hospital. She is very sick and has lost a third of her body weight." I'm really sorry, Brad. Julie S. shares that they're grieving the sudden death of a dear friend. Julie G. is celebrating successfully submitting the first half of the French literary novel she is translating about a sweeping family Guadalupe. Sebastian shares, "I'm excited that I get to start second grade on Tuesday." David K. shares joy feeling useful in a vaccine study. And Bob L. shares that September 7th would have been Terry's 71st birthday. As we pause for the sound of the temple bell, we lift up all of those spoken and all of the unspoken joys and sorrows in our community. Together, we return from this moment, holding one another in support and celebrating with one another's joys.
Our closing song this morning is from our hymn book, "As We Go Marching, Marching." The song is often referred to as "Bread and Roses," which is a political slogan as well as the name of an associated poem and song. It originated from a speech given by American women's suffrage activist Helen Todd. A line in the speech about bread for all and roses too inspired the title of the poem, "Bread and Roses" by James Oppenheim. I hope you enjoy and sing along. Thank you so much to Doris, Michaela, Kitty, and Maureen for helping us to sing Bread and Roses. Today for our benediction, I would like for us all to take a deep breath and name out loud those you know who are essential workers. They may be members of your own family, friends, neighbors, or even yourself. If you don't know anyone, think of all the people out there in the grocery stores, the hospitals, the utility workers, the delivery drivers. So many people are essential workers in this time of pandemic. They risk their lives so that we could have what we need. Take a moment and lift these people up. There are so many, so many. For our closing words, I would actually like to go back to the grocery store worker, Constance, from the earlier story. Don't forget that we were open to serve you in your time of need. You never know when you might need us again. On this Labor Day, thank you to all workers, all laborers, and especially in these times, our essential workers. My friends, I hope you have a wonderful week. Right before we extinguish our chalice, I would like to remind you about our Labor Day picnic. I hope to see you there. It will be outside and masked. Amber will tell us more in a few moments. But thank everyone for all the work you do.
As a symbol of our connection and shared vision as a congregation, I invite you to place your hands over your heart or virtually hold hands as we say our closing words together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of vision. As we go forth, let us heal and transform ourselves and our world through reason and love.
First UU is a place to be social. Please join us tomorrow from 4 to 6 p.m. for a socially distanced Labor Day picnic in the church parking lot. Masks are required. Please bring your own food, drinks, and seating and maintain proper distancing. Check out our new community altar on the brick patio by the Memorial Garden. Our stuffed animal friends are also accepting pantry staples and gently used children's books for Read and Feed Ohio. Once again, if you are interested in becoming a member of First UU, please join our next Pathways to Membership class happening next Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. You can email Kelly or visit our website to register. Our annual water ceremony is next Sunday. Please email Reverend Marian a short sentence or phrase about what water means to you and a picture of you or your family near a body of water by noon Friday to be included in the service. Everyone is invited to coffee hour to connect more after this service ends. After the postlude, you will need to leave this broadcast, grab your coffee, tea, or water, and then head back into Zoom at 11 o'clock using the link posted in the chat. See you there.
Special thanks to everyone who made today's worship service possible. Thank you to Larry Drake, Doris, Michaela, Kitty, and Maureen for your wonderful music. Our other musicians, Brandon Moss, Michaela Jones-Brown, and Nathan Ham, as well as our ministry team, Amber Scott, Isabel Call, and Reverend Dr. Marian Stewart. And special thank you for our tech support to Angela Rupert.
As we leave our service this morning, I want to say Happy Labor Day to everyone. I also want to leave you with these take-home questions, which we can also carry into coffee hour. Do you know an essential worker? How do you show your gratitude? What do you appreciate about the labor movement and the changes it wrought? How does this impact your life? My friends, once again, happy Labor Day. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you soon. See you at coffee hour.